I just had a text. It was obvious what had happened. I got a text from the power grid saying, by the way, we've turned your electricity off for the next few hours. Great. But it's just gone 12. I ain't wrapped anything yet. I was about to start filming a video. As you know, most Mondays, that's what I do. Never mind. I'm going to do this segment of the video first. The old school version, what I bought yesterday. I can't show you what I've sold. I can do that in post. Edit, I can do the pictures, but I can't even look them up on the phone because the cell towers seem to be out as well. I've got one bar, it's not producing any data. So eBay is on something went wrong. And obviously my laptop, it was on low charge and it's just not turning on. And even if it does, I haven't got the Wi-Fi. Yeah, look, cycling. Never mind, I'll tell you what I bought yesterday. It wasn't a huge amount. Every year, Hull has a fair. Now, the car boot I go to is on the fairground, so no car boot this week or next week, no car boot fair, just Hull Fair. Fair enough. So, I'll show you what I got yesterday at North Cape. And I can do it here because my camera's got a battery in and the light above it is a battery powered, although it does seem to be a bit low. So I'm going to be quick. First thing I bought was a BT big button phone with a base, a charging base and all the wires including the power supplies, or at least there's one of them and there's the other one. They're only little for these BT phones. So that was £2. So that could be as much as 30 if I split them into the two handsets, the power supplies and the base, which I probably will do actually, because I could sell the whole lot for maybe 20, maybe 22 delivered, but as it is I can sell the whole lot separately for maybe £30 plus delivery. That was pretty good. Got this box, Gear VR, and I paid £4 for that. It's I've sold these before. That one's sealed at that end but not up this end. It's been opened, but it doesn't look like it's been used much. Both the times I've had these, I've had a Samsung phone, but none of them are big enough for this. This is for the S6 to S8. I think they're on S12 now, so it's a little bit out. And you connect the phone in there, you take that off, put the phone in, and it clips down each end to hold the phone. It has an electronics attachment, and you download the VR app for the Samsung phone. It's brand specific. Anyway, it looks like this when you've got it on. I can't see what I'm doing at the moment because obviously I've got a black screen on. Everything's there, including a little remote controller that you hold in your hand. It's not like the Oculus ones, it's made by the Oculus people. Little controller. And then there's an adapter for the other type of phone that it does. They're all Samsung phones that it'll work on, because it's for Samsung Gear. It's called Samsung Gear and it's got a user manual. It's USB powered or charged, and obviously you can connect your phone into it when you use it. So yeah, these are, I think the first time I bought one of these it was about 40 quid to sell second hand, and I'm not sure that they have come down in price, but this is in really good condition. It's like new. So yeah, maybe I might up to 30, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, that was 4. Next I bought some felt tip pens. There's a load in the bottom of there which are all Sharpies. There's about 50, maybe 60, all different colours, Sharpies. There's only one black, some dark greys, lots of blues, but you know, bright colours, which is, you know, fine. And then I got these art pens as well. Let's grab them. They're in a really useful box. It is really useful, that size, to me. It's big enough for CDs or video games. And there are all these, there you go, Leap art markers with, yeah, it's got a fine at both, sharp and a fine, sorry, a bladed end and a fine end, and all different colours. There's nearly 100 there, so it's 150 different like pens for, paid a £5. I'm not sure because they're second hand. If they were in packaging, there's probably 40 quid's worth. But second hand, you have to go through and make sure they're working first off, and then the fact that you've done that, it means that they're being used. Who knows? I'm not sure about the price on that, but you know, I'll put them on auction, I think, and see what happens. I got a Olympus Trip XB41AF camera. Quite a nice little camera. It's 35mm with a film in. Obviously the film's duff now, probably duff before that, but I will test it with the film in, see if it winds on, winds back, all that business. And that was £1, worth taking a chance for £1. So these are over £20. Well, some people are getting 16, other people are getting 30. You know how it is with eBay. So I'll be looking for over 20 if it's working nicely. There is a bit of a mark on it there. You can't see that, can you? There's a mark on it there. And so that was £1, well worth the effort. Then I went on to some AV gear, which is, you know, the main reason I go to these car boots is that people really undervalue their old AV gear. So the first one I got was this Bush FreeSat, and this one was £3.50 with a remote. It's got a SCART on the back. It's not HD, it's just standard definition. SCART. Oh, it's got, no, sorry, just hold on. No, this is the HD version of the standard definition one I've had in the past. Yes, it's a squarer box. The front of the standard definition one is very rounded. It's got the same remote, but this has got an HDMI output as well as a SCART. There you go. And yes, it's HD, but it's not a recorder, it's just a tuner. So it's not going to be worth as much, but that's fair enough. It has the remote, which is the main thing for these, because otherwise, you know, it's not worth a lot. Anyway, that was £3.50, and I reckon I could probably get £20 without any trouble at all. I got an XB1 game, Xbox One, The Division. Unfortunately, CEX are selling these for £1.50, and they'll accept them in trade for 10 pence. Anyway, I only paid 50 pence for it. So I might have a look at putting it in the machine, see if it's worth playing. I don't think it is. They're selling on eBay for £3 delivered, and now everybody knows it. The cost of delivery is now about £2.50 for something like this. This is quite light. It might get away with £1.60, £1.65, including a bag. But come on, is it worth it when you bought it for 50 pence? No, it's not. And I haven't got enough. Well, I've never had enough Xbox Ones to be able to put a bundle together to sell. Next was another bit of AV gear. This one, yes, Humax, there. And this one's a much nicer machine. This is a FoxSat HD. It's got HDMI on the back, twin SCART outputs, twin tuner, so you can tune into a channel, watch it on the TV, tune into a different channel, and record it. I'm not sure whether this is a 500 or a 1 gig. It doesn't say either way. It just says GB, not 1000 GB or anything like that. It just says HD GB. We'll find out. And that's come with a remote as well. And that was £4. Like I said, people do undervalue them. And there's the remote for that one. The next piece of AV gear is an old favourite of mine. I've had a few of these. This is one of the long Panasonic DVD players. Well, it's a Blu-ray, this one. This is a DMP BD120, and I showed you one of these a couple of weeks back and then promptly sold it because it was unlocked for region. And I can region unlock this with a little remote I've actually dug out from my DVD cabinet over there. And it's on standard remote. And that was £4 as well. Very pleased with the AV gear. Not pleased with only getting 3 pieces. It's end of the season and people have either got rid of it or they just keep it for next year maybe. Don't know. But £3.50, £4 and £4 for items. Oh, I didn't say that Blu-ray, previous Blu-ray sold for about £42. So that cost me £4. I'm going to sell it for 10 times what I paid for it. Having the unlocking remote has made me a lot of money over the couple of years since I bought the Sony one first, and after unlocking about 5 machines I went back to the same seller on eBay and bought the Panasonic one. They also do a disc that you can put into LGs, but the list is very small for LGs that can be unlocked. And they don't do it on a remote, they do it on a disc. You've got to sort of put a disc into the empty machine and do a couple of things on the different... Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm rambling. Next thing I bought was this, a nice Port of Hull ABP, Associated British Ports, Port of Hull, 3 crowns shield for the wall plaque. It unfortunately has a bit of... It's very difficult to see unless you've got the shine there. It's a bit dented in there. But from a distance of... Well, there you can just about see that there's some like marking on the shininess there. It's a bit unfortunate. I think it's because they didn't use quality wood and it's not... The varnish hasn't taken properly there. Apart from that, it's really nice. It's a large facility, ABP, at the Hull Port. It's nice, isn't it? I reckon I'll get good money for that. Maybe 25 to 30. I paid 3 for that. And then the last thing I bought is this bag. Quite a chunk of bag full. I've told you not to buy these, and I've said I won't buy them myself again. However, it was a £5 for the lot, and these are selling on eBay if you can get away with it. I can't get away with selling this particular piece of kit. This is the main box. I've tried to sell a main box before. I've got one upstairs and it hasn't sold. The reason I've still got it is because it's got a 1 terabyte hard drive in, and if you unscrew the bottom, you can take the 1 terabyte hard drive out. So I thought to myself, I'll buy this one for the same thing. Anyway, this one's 2 terabyte. This is a ES240 main box for Sky Q. However, I have noticed there's a load more on sale these days, so maybe they've relaxed the situation. And there's no remotes, but what there is the power supply for it. Now these are going for between £20 and £30, and I have tested it with the power supply. It turns on. I haven't tested it in the TV, and why would I bother if I was just going to take the hard drive out? If I'm going to just take the hard drive out, there's a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I can sell this for £24, £25. Don't forget the whole lot cost me a £5. And then there's an ER115 router, this one. So this is like the hub, and it's the type that plugs in with a phone line, which I'm sure some people still use those. I haven't in 5 or 6 years. I've got the fibre optic, and it's power supply, no remote. Doesn't take a remote, it's a router. And you can sell these as a kit like this, and I think they're about £20. So that was a pretty good £5 spent. And an HDMI cable, which these always come in handy, as you know. So that was a £5 spent, and hopefully maybe 45 back. And the hard drive, once you've got those drives out, you have to have them into an enclosure or an adapter, format the hard drive properly. And some of those enclosures don't. Well, the one I've got isn't an enclosure, it just attaches to the drive, and you can format things with it. Yeah, a lot of the actual enclosures have their own software, and they only run when you've got your own software built in, you know. Whereas the bit where you just plug an adapter onto it that you've got cheap from China, and there's no software with it, you can do anything to the drive that you want. I'm rambling yet again. There's nothing else for me to say except that my total spend was £32. Yeah, for a 2 terabyte hard drive you'd spend 20 quid these days. The big button phone system should get me over 30 back. Maybe the same with the Samsung, and I'm not sure about that little camera. Could be several £100 worth there for the £32, so it's not bad. I can't test any of it until the electronics come on. I can't wrap any gear, it's all in the garage, it's in the dark, and I can't... Well, I've actually, I know the main thing I sold this morning is the magazine rack, which is a log stand, wrought iron log stand. I can wrap that, no problem at all. I'm going to go do that now, and probably in a couple of hours I'll film the segment about what I sold last week. I would love to have sat here and tell you on each individual item what I sold last week, but something went wrong. So I will film that a bit later when the power's back on.
5 hours later.
Okay, I'm back. Power's back on, but I have shown you what I bought over the weekend. So now I'm going to do a quick rundown of what was sold last week. Then I'm going to discuss the dreaded postage increase. First thing last week, Fujifilm BC45 Camry battery charger. Yeah, you saw it a couple of weeks ago. I got it for 33 pence, added in a plug lead and sold it for £7.95 plus postage. £12.15. Nice. Dehumidifier. Dehumidifier, £20 plus £8 postage, £28. It wasn't modified, it was just a dehumidifier. Xbox One, Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection. This was one of those games that I held up 7 for a fiver, sold instantly. I decided to list some of them, and the ones that I don't sell for an extra profit from compared with what will, you know, trade in at CEX, will just get traded in at CEX. But I thought I'd have a go selling them first because it's all grist to the middle, isn't it? Sales is sales. So that went for £6.95. After fees and expenses and everything, you don't get a great deal back, but it's better than the trading was for cash anyway. Prison Break, The Conspiracy, PlayStation 3. This one cost me, I bought this individually and it cost me £1. But I know it was a good game and it sold for £7.75 plus £2.20 postage. Because knowing that the postage was increasing, I decided to start listing games with postage on so that I can just go into the business policy, the postage policy, and change that rather than change all the prices of all the games that had free post on. Vast majority of my games under £5 are free post, and that's because they're in multi-listings. There are some under £5 in separate listings, and I'll have to go in and individually change the prices. And if you don't, well, we'll get on to what happens if you don't. Humax Foxsat HDI FreeSat. This was last week, £47 plus postage, £55. Nice machine that. Yeah, I've sold a number of those Foxsats, the HDR versions, and they're just nice. In fact, all your Humaxes, so long as the capacitors aren't going, they're fine. 50-cent Blood on the Sand. Now, I bought this a couple of months ago at least, maybe 3 months ago, from my electrical guy who I buy a lot of consoles and stuff from, and he was trying to sell me a console with a load of games. Anyway, I bought some games and I paid on this one 50 odd pence, or no, I think I paid £1 a game for them because they had this one in, and I kept it for a while. I played it. I played the first couple of levels, but then I thought, you know, it's gone up in value since I bought it. It's worth selling. I got £27.95 for 50-cent Blood on the Sand. Yeah, nice. It's the reason the price is it's got 18 exclusive tracks. Yeah. Next brand, you've seen this. I showed you. I bought this at the car boot from Walkington. It's like you know the LED rope lamps. Well, it's like sections of that, but they've got a wire in to make them stiff, and they come out of a chrome base. I'll show you the picture anyway. And that was £19.95 plus £8 postage, £27.95. Xbox game Time Splitters 2 with manual, one from the bundle. I showed you that I got 3 different versions of it. No, 2 different versions. Well, it was 3 different versions of Time Splitters 2. But 2 of them were PS2, different, you know. And anyway, this one's an Xbox one, £3.95, including postage. This is the point. The postage is now, or at least it went up on the 1st of October, to £2.30. However, what I've been doing is sending them by Every, because Every have got an offer on at the moment with through eBay, £2 up to a kilo. Well, that's obviously 15p more than the old postage price, but it's not too big of a hit. So £3.95 minus the fees, minus the £2, minus what I bought it for. Doesn't leave a lot. This was nice. I did drop the price considerably to get it sold. There are people trying to sell me for $45, $55. This is the Sri Lankan peacock warrior mask god type thing that you can put on your wall. It's just a wall mask that's been painted. It's all hand carved. It's not that big. It's about that big. What's that? 14 inches, something like that. And the same wide. There's a picture. And it had a little one with it. Just a sort of dinky hand carved jobby. And it's gone for £21 plus postage, £4.20, £25.20. I paid a fiver for that, and the other one got gifted to me by the staff at the charity shop because I'm just a good customer, that's why. I think it was £3.75 for that one. But they decided they would repair and gave me them for the same price, so. But yeah, I've been trying to get 40, 45, but nothing happened, so I just dropped the price drastically. And then I sent an offer, I think it was about £28, sent offers, you know, £21, and it was accepted. And paid for eventually. Next, Ricoh FF9AF camera, film tested. And it has, well, it was film tested with all the film, I didn't include the film. $29.95 plus postage, $34.15, which was nice. The Nintendo Switch game from the Switch that I got for £45 with those Xbox One games, that went for $10.99 free post. But luckily it was letter thickness, not large letter. So the letter price for the second class hasn't changed. So I got that sent out for 75p. So that's a good, good thing to remember. If it's letter thickness, you can send it for 75. So this is one of the things. I'm not going into what's sold this week, but I've sold 3 video games up to now this week, and I will go into those. And is it worth it anymore when it's large letter thickness? You see what I'm saying? If it was letter thickness, like when I sell a disc only, it is now 75p plus 10 or 12p for a card backed envelopes. I send them in card backed envelopes, buy them 100 at a time, because that way the disc is much less likely to get damaged. I mean, I have bought them disc only and they've come in normal envelopes and I'm not impressed. They come in a plastic slip as well to make sure they don't get all scratched, that's fine. But a single flat piece of paper either side isn't really strong enough in my opinion. Whereas, card on one side to protect it from bending, much better. I would like to send them all out like this in a hard case, but you can't afford it when the game's £4 or £3. I'm getting to the point where it's just not worth it anymore. I'll run the numbers for you in a minute. Next game was, it's coming to Christmas. You can tell it's Q4. It's a lot more games. Despicable Me Minions Megaphone Blaster Fart Gun. Yeah. $7.95 plus postage, $12.15. And that was discounted as well. Xbox 360 game. Which one was it? Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Brilliant game. Very common. Very cheap. $3.59 in a box. I was basically giving it away because the prices hadn't changed at this point. I hadn't been into all my multi-listings and upped the price, which I have now. This is one of the ones that got me to do it. $3.59 minus fees, which is, what's that? 36p plus 30p, 66p plus VAT, 76p, sorry. Then you've got to add in postage. On top of that, £2.30, so that leaves like £3 and 6. Envelope, £3.16. Yeah, and then no, it wasn't sold on promoted, but if it had been, that would have been another 60p, or sorry, 6p. And it cost, and I sold it for £3.60, so that left me just about 40 pence. A little bit less maybe. Yeah. Another one, PS2 game, £4.89. £4.89. Again with the £2.30 postage. Again with the 30 pence per sale fee. And this one, luckily, again, wasn't sold promoted. I do promote video games, but this one wasn't clicked through on the promotions. So again, £2.30, 10 pence, and on this one was about 90 pence in fees. So what's that, £3.40 off a £4.80 game, £1.49 left. However, I did buy this one in. This one was Time Splitters, and as you know, I bought the Time Splitters separately, £1 a came. So you've got to take another £1 off that. Yeah, not a lot. Never mind. Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights, £10 for 2 discs Blu-ray, sorry, DVD box set, because it's still a popular box set. £10 plus £4.20, £14.20. Next one, Braun Oral B electric toothbrush charging units. Most of these came to me at less than 50 pence. I think I've sold 4 or 5 now. In fact, I might be completely out of them. They are good. Anytime you see one, just pick it up. You know what they look like. They're white. They've got a little prong for the electric toothbrush to stand in. People lose them when they're moving house. People want one for their bedroom so they don't have to keep going in somebody else's room and charge it. £11.95 delivered for something that cost me about 50 pence. If you see them, pick them up. Microsoft Xbox. Now, last week I spent a lot of time listing Xboxes, the Xbox 360s, mainly because I just so many of them, and it's quarter 4 now. It's worth doing, you know. So I made an effort. I got 8 out of the 11 listed. I've got 3 more under my desk to do. They're all sold console only because I've only got 2 power supplies for those. I've got one S and one E. I do have a load of the other older power supplies. I should probably list them separately. However, £34 plus postage, £42. Not bad at all. That was a 250 gigabyte and it had some games on the disc, so probably a little bit better than some of the ones I'm listing. However, I do also have a 500 gigabyte up for sale. Some of them are E's, some of them are S's, but none of them are the old beige sort of curved versions. I still have a stack of them. They're just not worth listing. Sony Cybershot camera I showed you in the last video. The last video I released. It won't be the last video. It's about 3 videos back by the time you see this one, because I'm in a backlog. I am trying to get like at least 2 a week up at the moment. So this is the Sony Cybershot DSC P72 that I bought for £1. I put it on auction. It had a few looks and interests. I put it back up because I started it at 99p. It had no bids, and I had a feeling somebody was going to snipe it at the last minute. It had 3 days to run, so I put it up to £1.99 to make sure I made a profit. Yeah. And that's what it sold for. So there you go. £1.99 plus postage though. So it went for £6.19. And the last thing of the week was a Bop It Maker electronic skill reaction game. Yeah, I think what you can do is you can record things with it. You can record your own words and sounds, and then there's a dial on it that you've got to turn it and then bop. I don't know. £7 plus postage, £11. It had the old postage on that. I don't know how it managed to get away with that, with the business policies. Maybe I couldn't find the right business policy and put it in individually on that listing. I don't know. Because normally I use postage policies because that way they can get updated. In the same way that I've changed the postage to postage policies on video games, I've got to go through a lot of my video games and put postage on them. Take the original old postage, which was £1.55. Yeah, not this is. I put a lot of these on before it was £1.85. It is now £2.30. Yeah, it used to be anything under 100 grams was £1.15, and anything over 100 grams up to 250 was £1.55, and then it went to £1.85, and then it went to £2.30. It's gone from £1.55 to £2.30 in just over a year. Yeah. So this is what I was going to tell you about these. I've got a couple going out today because it's like new stuff from next week, but I'm not going to mention it now this week. I know I've stopped. I want to start doing a whole week in one go, and then everything you see is new. So yeah, 3 video games going out. Personally, I wouldn't go for this value anymore, but £5.95 is just about break even. I've got 3 examples, one from last week and 2 from this week to show you. So the first one last week, £3.99, but in a box. £3.99 in a box. You're paying 83p in fees. You've got to mail it, and you've got to mail it in a bubble bag, or even a mail sack is 5p. So your postage is £2.30, leaving you 81p, and you've got to either bought the game in, so for 40p, like mine average between 40 and 50p when I'm doing bulk. This was a bulk one. It was the Xbox game, I believe. Anyway, an Xbox game, yeah, without a manual, 81p return before purchase. So we're talking maybe 30p profit on a £3.99 game. Here's one, £5.95 plus fees. Sorry, plus postage, £2.50. £1.36 in fees, £2.40 for the actual postage, and 10p for the envelope. Leaves £4.79. That's the return minus the purchase price. Now, as I said to you, mine's like the average is between 50p and £1 for the individual games. On the multi-listing, it's 40 or 50p. So that's a good margin. Good margin for the individual games, and a multiple game, it's likely to be a bit less than that. So if it's like £6 plus postage, it's worth doing. If it's £5 including postage, it's really not worth doing anymore. Don't forget, even if it's only quick and you're taking a photograph of the front of the box, the middle of the box with the 2 bits showing, and the outside. Or in my multi-listings, I'm doing the front of the box, the manual if it's stood next to the box, and the disc on the desk. So you can see all 3 at once in one photograph. Saves a lot of time, but you still got to store it. You've still got to get it out again, out of storage, and process the actual sale and print a label. Even if you've got your envelopes ready and you've got your label machine ready to go, right next to where you're storing the item, it still takes time. And for £1 or 81p, really, is it worth it anymore? Got to consider yourself being paid minimum wage if you're under £15 these days, £15 an hour. I certainly don't get anywhere near that. Yeah, so disc 3, £8.49, £1.37 in fees, £2.30 off postage, 20p ad fee because there was an ad fee on this one, promoted, 10p bubble bag, leaves £4.52, and this one cost me £1. So out of £8.49, I got £3.52 back. It's okay that. It's just about right. It's just about break even for your time. Don't forget, I've got to take 70p off that, or 50p or £1 depending. So maybe a £3.50 profit. Right. Anyway, did I tell you the total for last week? I don't think I did I? Total orders last week was £348.21, which is a bit disappointing over the last few weeks. It's been better, but I think it's because it's the first week of the month. People had spent what they were going to spend over the weekend, and now it's not the beginning of the month, where they've got money at the end of the month when they've been paid. Yeah, I'm considering taking a lot of my under £5 games off and selling them disc only. You are going to save yourself £1.60 in fees. Sorry, in costs. £1.55 in costs, in postage. And yeah, that's a lot of money. I think all the games where there isn't a manual will probably go disc only from now on, because all you're paying for is the cover. You could send them the cover with the disc without any trouble. Weight wise, it's not a problem having a cover. It's the box, it's the plastic you're paying to post. You're paying £1.60 odd more to send just a bit of plastic that doesn't have any relevance. Right, I've moaned on about that long enough. I'll let you go, because it's been 20 minutes and I'm going to have to cut a bit out anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video despite the fact that it's a bit of an odd one this week because of the power cut. I'll try to not edit too much and get it out quicker so it's a little relevant about the postage. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.